Some things Japan has built into daily life are so thoughtful and clever that the moment you encounter them, you immediately wonder why the rest of the world hasn't done the same. Street ramen stalls serving rich, deeply flavored bowls for a few hundred yen to anyone walking past at any hour. A chocolate specifically engineered to promote better sleep that you eat before bed instead of a supplement. And matcha cafes that turn a single ingredient into an entire experience worth traveling for. Japan doesn't just do things differently, it does them so well that the standard version stops feeling like a real option. Today, we're counting down 16 Japanese ideas that instantly improve daily life. Watch until the end because number 16, robot cafes where every robot is operated by a disabled person working from home, is one of the most quietly brilliant things Japan has ever built. Number 1, street ramen stalls. Japan's street ramen stalls, known as yatai, are small mobile or semi-permanent food stands that set up in the evening on street corners, under railway bridges, and in covered alleys, serving bowls of freshly made ramen to anyone who sits down at the counter for a few hundred yen. The kitchen is the width of the stall. The chef works inches from the customer. The broth has been simmering for hours. The noodles are cooked to order, and the bowl arrives within minutes of sitting down. There is no reservation, no dress code, no minimum spend, and no ceremony. You sit, you order, you eat, you leave. The entire experience from sitting down to walking away takes 20 minutes. Japan built a format where a genuinely good hot meal is available to anyone walking past at any hour for the price of a bus ticket, and produced one of the most satisfying dining experiences in the world from a counter the size of a wardrobe. Number 2, matcha cafes. Japan's dedicated matcha cafes take a single ingredient and build an entire hospitality experience around it, with menus covering matcha lattes, matcha soft serve, matcha tiramisu, matcha parfait, matcha noodles, and matcha cocktails, all produced from high-grade ceremonial or culinary matcha, sourced from specific growing regions. The depth of a dedicated matcha menu reveals something about the ingredient that a single matcha latte at a standard cafe never communicates. The bitterness varies by grade. The creaminess changes with preparation method. The pairing with sweet, savory, and dairy produces completely different expressions of the same leaf. Visiting a matcha cafe in Kyoto, where the tea-growing tradition of Uji produces some of the finest matcha in the world, is a different experience to ordering one at a chain. The ingredient is taken seriously enough that the cafe exists to explore it rather than simply to sell it. Japan built a cafe category around the idea that one ingredient done properly is enough. Number 3, sushi vending machines. Japan operates sushi vending machines stocked with individually packaged fresh nigiri and rolls that are prepared daily, refrigerated in the machine, and available around the clock at any location where the machine is installed without a restaurant being open or a chef being present. The product is made fresh that day. The packaging is sealed and date stamped. The selection covers standard varieties including tuna, salmon, prawn, and egg, with seasonal additions depending on the machine's location and operator. For a country where fresh sushi is a daily food rather than a special occasion meal, the vending machine format makes it available at the times and places where a restaurant isn't an option. Late-night transit hubs, hospital corridors, office buildings after hours. Japan applied its vending machine infrastructure logic to one of its most culturally significant foods and produced a format where fresh sushi is available with the same convenience as a bottle of water. If you're enjoying this so far, go ahead and tap like. It tells YouTube you want more of Japan's clever, everyday innovations. And if you love discovering things you didn't even know existed, hit subscribe so you don't miss the rest of this list. Trust me, the next ones are even cooler. Number 4, beer girls at baseball games. Japanese baseball stadiums employ beer servers known as beer girls who carry large insulated backpack kegs through the stands throughout the game, pouring fresh cold beer directly into cups for spectators at their seats without anyone needing to leave to find a concession stand. You raise your hand, the server comes to your row, pours your beer, and moves on. The beer is cold. The pour is fresh. You never miss a play. You never navigate a crowded concourse. You never return to find someone in your seat. The servers cover specific sections continuously throughout the game, meaning the wait for a refill is measured in minutes rather than the duration of a queue. The backpack keg keeps the beer at temperature throughout the session. Japan applied the logic of bringing the service to the person rather than the person to the service to a sporting event, and produced a stadium experience that makes watching baseball significantly more enjoyable than standing in a drinks line for 10 minutes of a 9-inning game. Number 5, egg vending machines. Japan's farm direct egg vending machines are positioned roadside near agricultural areas and restocked daily with eggs collected that morning, providing eggs so fresh they carry the collection date and time on the packaging and are available at any hour without a shop or market being open. The machine bypasses the standard retail supply chain entirely. The eggs go from the farm to the machine rather than from the farm to a distributor to a supermarket shelf, reducing the time between collection and purchase from days to hours. The freshness difference between a same-day egg and a supermarket egg is significant and immediately apparent in cooking. The yolk stands higher. The white holds its shape more cleanly. The flavor is more pronounced. Japan looked at the gap between a farm producing eggs and a person wanting to buy them and removed every step between those 2 points except the machine. The eggs are fresher. The farmer earns more. The transaction takes 10 seconds. Number 6. Robot barista at Henna Cafe. The Henna Cafe in Tokyo operates a coffee counter staffed by a robotic arm barista that prepares espresso-based drinks autonomously from order to completion without any human involvement in the preparation process. You order at the touchscreen, the robot arm activates, selects the cup, operates the espresso machine, steams the milk, pours the drink, and presents it at the collection point. The sequence is precise, consistent, and produces the same result for every order regardless of time of day or volume of customers. The robot doesn't have an off day. It doesn't rush during a morning rush. It doesn't produce a different result at the end of a long shift than at the beginning. Every coffee is made to the same specification every single time. Japan deployed a robot barista not because human baristas aren't capable, but because consistency is itself a form of quality, and a machine that makes the same coffee identically 1,000 times in a row is genuinely good at the job. Number 7. Massive malls with everything inside. Japan's largest shopping malls are not simply retail centers. They are self-contained urban environments where a single building contains department stores, supermarkets, restaurants across every cuisine and price point, cinemas, arcades, aquariums, ice skating rinks, theme park attractions, hotels, medical clinics, and transit connections, providing an entire day's worth of distinct activities without requiring anyone to step outside. The scale changes the experience from shopping to destination. You don't go to spend money. You go because the building contains everything worth doing for an afternoon, regardless of what you're in the mood for when you arrive. Families with children, groups with conflicting interests, and individuals who want multiple activities in one trip all find what they need within the same footprint. The building anticipates every reason someone might leave and provides an alternative to leaving instead. Japan built malls that compete with cities rather than with other malls and produce spaces that generate genuine loyalty rather than simply foot traffic. Number 8. GABA sleep chocolate. Japan produces a chocolate bar containing gamma-aminobutyric acid, known as GABA, a naturally occurring compound that promotes relaxation and supports the transition to sleep. Marketed and sold as a functional sleep aid in the form of a chocolate you eat before bed rather than a pill you swallow with water. The GABA content is measured and consistent per serving. The chocolate is formulated to be eaten in the hour before sleep as part of a wind-down routine rather than as a general snack. The product is sold in convenience stores and supermarkets alongside standard confectionery rather than in a pharmacy section. Japan identified that the gap between wanting to sleep better and actually doing something about it is often the inconvenience and clinical feel of supplements. A chocolate solves both problems. It's pleasant to take, requires no water, produces no pill-swallowing resistance, and can be integrated into a bedtime routine without feeling like a medical intervention. Number 9. Mini Ghibli humidifiers. Japan produces small desktop humidifiers designed to look exactly like characters and objects from Studio Ghibli films, including Totoro, the Cat Bus, and the Soot Sprites from Spirited Away, that emit a fine mist from the top of the character figure while functioning as a fully operational cool mist humidifier. The mist emerges from the character's head or a designated opening in a way that is visually consistent with the character's design. Totoro breathes mist. The Soot Sprites emit a tiny cloud. The function is real and the output is sufficient for a personal desktop humidification zone. Japan produces functional home appliances that also function as display objects worth having on a desk, regardless of the humidity benefit. Treating product design as a legitimate reason to buy something practical. For Ghibli fans, the humidifier is both a piece of merchandise and a working appliance. Japan made the two things the same object and produced a product that sells on both merits simultaneously. Number 10. Keishapon Sensitive Text Stamp Roller. The Keishapon is a Japanese roller stamp that you run across sensitive text on documents, receipts, and letters to cover personal information with a dense pattern of printed characters, making the underlying text completely unreadable without damaging the document or requiring it to be shredded. You roll it over a name, an address, an account number, or any information you don't want visible, and the roller leaves an opaque ink pattern that covers the text completely. The document can still be recycled. The information is gone. It addresses the specific privacy problem of paper documents that contain personal information but don't require destruction. Receipts, delivery slips, junk mail with your name and address, subscription letters, all of them contain enough personal detail to be useful to someone who shouldn't have it, but don't warrant a shredder. Japan produced a tool that makes protecting personal information on paper as easy as running a roller across it, and made it available as a standard stationery product for a few hundred yen. Number 11. 3D latte art. Japan's 3D latte art takes the standard flat surface illustration of conventional latte art and builds upward from the foam surface to create three-dimensional sculptural figures that sit on top of the coffee as fully formed objects, rather than printed designs on a flat surface. Bears, cats, rabbits, and seasonal characters are the most common subjects. The foam is shaped and supported using techniques developed by specialist baristas who treat the coffee surface as a sculpting medium rather than a canvas. The figures are detailed enough to show facial expressions and textural features. The drink functions normally. The sculpture sits on the foam surface and holds its form for several minutes, before the heat of the coffee gradually relaxes it back into the surface. Japan took a skilled craft that was already impressive and added a dimension to it, producing coffee presentations that people specifically seek out and photograph before drinking, and that generate social media attention disproportionate to their function as a cup of coffee. Number 12. Children commuting independently. Japan's primary school children commute to school independently from the first year, navigating public transit, crossing roads, and managing their own journey in groups without adult supervision, in a practice so normalized that it is built into the school system, rather than left to individual family decisions. The foundation is a combination of road safety education, delivered from the earliest school age, a transit system designed to be navigable by young children, and a community infrastructure of volunteer adults positioned at key crossings throughout the morning commute window. The children wear distinctive yellow hats and carry randoseru backpacks that make them immediately identifiable to adults in the community who watch out for them without being formally organized to do so. The result is children who develop genuine independence, spatial awareness, and confidence in navigating their environment years before their counterparts in other countries are permitted to walk to a nearby friend's house alone. Japan built safety around the child and gave them the freedom. Number 13. Hibi incense matchsticks. Hibi are Japanese incense sticks the size of a matchstick that ignite by striking against a provided striking surface, burn for approximately 10 minutes, and produce a consistent fragrance from natural materials including Japanese cypress, rose, and yuzu, without requiring a separate lighter, holder, or any setup beyond a small mat included in the packaging. You strike the stick, blow out the small flame, rest it on the provided mat, and the incense burns on its own. The mat catches the ash. The fragrance fills a small space for 10 minutes. The entire product fits in a pocket. The format makes incense as convenient as carrying a small box of matches. No setup, no holder, no residual tools to manage after the session ends. Japan designed an incense format that removes every barrier to using it, and produced something that fits into a daily routine the way a candle or a diffuser doesn't, because both of those require preparation and a fixed location. Hibi requires neither. Number 14. Nursing and baby changing rooms. Japan's nursing and baby changing facilities in shopping centers, train stations, and public buildings are dedicated rooms rather than a fold-down shelf in a toilet cubicle, equipped with comfortable feeding chairs, multiple changing tables, a sink, a microwave for warming formula, a small fridge, and a play area for older siblings waiting during feeding. The rooms are clean, well-lit, and clearly signposted throughout the building, with a universal icon that parents recognize immediately. They are available without booking, free to use, and designed to accommodate multiple families simultaneously without any one family feeling rushed. For parents with young children, the quality of a facility's nursing room is a genuine factor in deciding whether to spend time in that building. Japan designed the rooms to a standard that makes the decision easy and produced spaces that parents actively seek out rather than reluctantly use. Japan treated the needs of parents with infants as a legitimate infrastructure requirement rather than an optional amenity and built the facilities accordingly. Number 15. Food handcarts for affordable street meals. Japan's street food handcarts, known as yatai or street stalls, are mobile or semi-permanent vendor setups serving freshly prepared food from a compact cart, including yakitori, okonomiyaki, takoyaki, grilled corn, and seasonal dishes at prices that make them the most affordable hot meal available in any given area. The food is cooked in front of you. The vendor has typically been making the same dishes from the same cart in the same location for years, and the quality reflects that repetition. There is no compromise on freshness or technique because the cart's reputation depends entirely on what comes off it. The format creates an informal street-level dining culture where eating well requires no restaurant booking, no table service, and no minimum spend. You stop, you order, you eat standing up or on a nearby bench, and you continue with your day. Japan kept the handcart alive in a modern urban environment because it serves a purpose no restaurant format replaces. Number 16. Robot cafes run by disabled people from home. Japan's Dawn Avatar. Robot Cafe in Tokyo operates a cafe where the robots serving customers are not autonomous machines, but are remotely controlled in real time by people with physical disabilities who operate them from their own homes, allowing individuals who cannot leave their house due to illness or disability to hold a job, interact with customers, and participate in daily working life through a robot avatar. The operator sees through the robot's camera, speaks through its speaker, and controls its movement from a laptop or tablet. The customer interacts with a robot that is genuinely being piloted by a specific person with a specific personality on the other end of the connection. The cafe exists as both a commercial hospitality business and as an employment model that solves one of the most persistent barriers faced by people with severe physical limitations. Japan built a cafe that serves good coffee and simultaneously provides meaningful work to people for whom the standard employment market has no place. Both things are true at the same time, and neither one is a compromise. If you want to see more amazing things Japan is doing better than the rest of the world, then like and subscribe. And make sure to watch the video on your end screen. It's packed with even more life-improving things.